Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Coach Chris Knighton coming back at you with another episode of the Knighton Runs podcast. This is going to be episode number 36, and I'm going to try a new thing here with the podcast. I'm going to begin a series. I'm going to call it The Essential Concepts of Marathon Training. In each episode, I'm going to go into a topic that I think you really need to understand and take to heart if you want to improve as a runner, and especially if you want to improve training for the marathon event. The first episode is going to be today, and we're going to be talking about the ratio between the stress you put into your training and the stress in your life and the rest that you get in between your training sessions, and why it's so important to get the balance of this ratio right. You can think of this as like the golden ratio of athletic improvement. It's so important, and I really think most athletes don't get this right. And it's not easy to do either because the balance you need between stressing your body and resting your body, it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's different for everybody and it's constantly changing. What you may be able to handle as a brand new runner is probably very different than what you can handle after you've been running for 6 months or a year. And even more so when you become a mature, advanced runner, maybe you've been running for 2 or 3 years, you can probably handle a ton. And then as you age, there'll eventually become a point where maybe if you need to keep improving, you actually need to do a bit less or space out what you're doing a bit more strategically so that you get enough rest to continue to improve. So it's a tricky thing. It's constantly moving, and getting the balance between stress and rest right, it's so challenging, but it's also so important. And here's why. So let's think about it. You want to improve as a runner, right? I'm sure you do. I do. Everyone I coach does. I'm not sure the type of person who's just goes out there to run and you don't really care about how you do, what your time is, how you race. I mean, if that's you, you're probably not listening to this podcast anyway. So let's just assume you want to get better. It's so important to have the balance of stress and rest in your life to be equal. A concept that I think most athletes don't really understand at first is how improvement in your body, how getting better actually works. It's not hard workouts, it's not running hard that makes you a faster and stronger athlete. So many people just beat themselves up day after day after day after day and don't see any improvement. It's because it's not hard workouts that make you stronger. It's the time you allow yourself between hard workouts that gives you the ability for your body to recover, to heal from the damage you caused it during those hard workouts, and then in turn grow stronger so that you can handle your next hard workout at a quicker pace or your next race at a quicker pace or be able to handle more volume or mileage of intensity over time. So let's kind of talk about how this might work from a math perspective, and I promise it's not going to be that hard. You want the stress you put on your body. This is your running. This is also your life stress. Okay. Work stress, family stress. Any mental or physical stress is going to inhibit growth and recovery. Running beats you up, it hurts you, it doesn't make you stronger. So let's say you give 100% to stressing your body out. And hopefully that's physical stress, not mental stress, okay? You need to match that with 100% rest because it's during that rest period that we actually heal, grow stronger, and are then able to do more in the weeks and months ahead. If you're going 100% physically, doing all the training, but you're not sleeping enough, and you're only getting 50% of the rest that you need, well, what's 100% divided by 50%? It's 150. That's way too much stress, not enough rest. And you may be able to get away with it for a little bit, but you're beating yourself up more than you're giving yourself the opportunity to recover and grow stronger. So, what's going to happen is you're not going to improve in this case. You're doing too much work physically, and you're not giving yourself enough opportunity to recover. So, you're either going to plateau or get worse, or put so much stress on your body you're not healing from through sleep and proper recovery that you may eventually get injured. Obviously, this is something we don't want. So, what we would look at, why aren't you getting enough rest? If your rest is only at 50%, but your training stress is at 100, okay, good. You're doing your training correctly. You're getting the training you need. But training is only 1 or 2 hours a day out of a 24-hour day. What are you doing in the other 22, 23 hours of the day? How can you better rest? Can you get more sleep? Can you eat better? Can you take care of your mental health so you're not adding on so much mental stress to the physical stress? Can you improve those things? Most people, I think, can. But if you're in a period of your life maybe where getting optimal sleep is not ideal, maybe you're in a stressful work situation that you're struggling with, you may need to actually lower your training intensity a bit so that it falls in line with how much rest you can actually get, right? Like if you're getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep, maybe you could run 50 miles a week. But say you're in a period of your life where you're only sleeping like 6 hours a night and there's just not a great way to get more in. Maybe in that case you can only handle 30 or 40 miles a week and still see improvement. You need to keep this ratio between physical stress, mental stress, and rest balanced. I actually think most people get this wrong in the sense that they work really hard, they do the training, but they don't rest enough. And if you don't rest enough, that's where you grow and improve. So if you're not seeing improvement, one of the first things I want to look at for an athlete is, are you resting enough? On the flip side, maybe you want to improve and just frankly, you're not doing enough physical stress, physical training to see the improvement that you need. Let's talk about a marathoner. Let's say you want to improve in the marathon. I really think that most athletes should probably have a good base of training of like 20 to 30 miles per week before they jump into a marathon training block. If you don't have that, for example, and you start training for a marathon, you're probably not putting in enough physical stress on your body to see the improvements that you're going to need to run the event well. You may be getting plenty of sleep, you may be sleeping 8 or 9 hours a night, but if you're only running, let's say 3 days a week, 2 or 3 miles at a time, and then doing a long run on the weekend, there's just not enough physical training stress to get the adaptations you need to grow and improve and do the marathon well. So in this case, you may only be training at 50% of your capacity, but your rest is good. Your rest is 100%. You're getting tons of sleep. In this case, if you want to improve, you got to do more stress because that ratio, 50 divided by 100, is 50%. You're only really going at 50%. You want to be as close to 100% between this stress and rest ratio as possible. And you don't really want to be over it, because if you're going over it, over 100%, it means you're doing too much and you're flirting with getting hurt and injured. Consistency is key with improvement in running, and it's better to be going at 80% year round than it is to be going at only 50% off and on, or to be going 110% for a while until you get hurt. This ratio, we'll call it the golden ratio of balance, the golden ratio for athletic improvement. You have to balance the physical training stress you're doing, keeping in mind that mental stress adds into that, and these things drag you down. But it's only through rest that we heal, improve, and grow stronger and are able to do more. So in the next episode of the series, I'm going to talk a bit about how you might structure your training week so that you're getting the proper amount of training stress, as well as the physical rest and relaxation that you need in order to improve when training for the marathon. That's the topic for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed listening to the Night and Run podcast today, I'd love it if you would tell a friend about the show, share it with them, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your listening platform of choice. I use one called Podcast Addict. It's on Android. I don't think most people have heard about it, but I love it. So if you have an Android, check out Podcast Addict. Anyway, hope your running's going well, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.